Yo, 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 what it do, how it go? It's the internet's favorite fake uncle coming at you live and direct on my way to go pick up littlest Bill to take him to his appointment this evening. I wanted to rap with y'all real quick about the latest, trash bandit, coonery, you know what I mean, that's popping off with our boy Robert Griffin Trace, right? And it's really a shame, man. It really is I really hate to get on RG3 like this because dude really, I don't know who to blame. I blame Shanahan. You feel me? I blame Dan Snyder and I blame RG3 himself. You feel me? Cause dude really, between him and Andrew Luck, dog, two of the biggest what if stories from the 2010s in the NFL. Two of the biggest what ifs in the same, matter of fact, went 1 and 2 after each other. What if Andrew Luck had a half decent O-line? And what if RG3 hadn't torn up his knee his rookie year, right? But I say that getting onto this because, and believe it or not, this is all going to come together in a second. So the latest coonassery that our boy RG3 has been up to. So the college football playoff bracket has been revealed. And, as it always is with, the college playoff, there's always going to be some controversy around it, right? Strength of schedule, record and all that and blase, whatever and whatnot. So RG3, gets on there and gets the yap and, talking about BYU, you feel me? And trying to make a case for why BYU, you feel me, should be in the bracket over some other teams, which at the end of the day, basically his argument, because he brings up some other teams, right? I think he brings up Miami, right? And basically the argument that he's trying to make is that all of the Power 4, Power 5 conferences, that basically they're all, which is bullshit. We know this. There's a reason why every other year, right, when you got a team that's so ass, y'all think y'all know teams that's ass. Man, listen, there's a reason why when we have like those 0-16 Browns teams or those 0-16 Lions teams from back in the day, man, Detroit, man. And see, this is part of the reason why I hate the Eagles fan base so bad, is because we really don't know what it's like to be down bad. We really don't know what it's like. For as long as I've been watching football, the Eagles have always been like a year away from being decent, at least. Detroit, man, I know y'all over there, y'all just doing cartwheels over the fact that y'all in the conversation now, right? But anyway, there's a reason why growing up, ESPN would have these segments to be like, oh, well, can Alabama beat this 0-16 Browns team? Or can Alabama beat, this 0-16 Lions team? And as asinine as that argument is, because we talking about a team that is primarily composed of future accountants and used car salesmen, right? Going against grown ass men who get paid to play football for a living. So the argument was always asinine. But the fact that we're even having that conversation, the fact that it is not so asinine to be not written into the script, tells you all you need to know about the Southeastern Conference. You feel me? Ain't nobody having that conversation about no BYFing you. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody having that conversation about a team unless it's in the SEC. There's a reason why. Part of the reason why Philly turned around is because, and this is what a lot of people, and I promise y'all I'm finna get to a point. I promise. Y'all should know by now that I'm a yapper. There's a reason why there was such a turnaround after, I'll say Jalen Reagor was the last draft pick that Howie said, all right, F it. We only going after SEC guys. We going to target SEC guys in the first round. You feel me? And that's why, you know, we were drafting, you feel me? Devontae Smith, Alabama, Heisman winner from Alabama. You know what I mean? Landon Dickerson, also Alabama. You feel me? Jordan Davis, Georgia. The next year, Jalen Carter, Georgia. Nakobe Dean, Georgia. Keely Ringo, Georgia. You understand? There's a reason why Howie snatches up all these SEC guys. Jahad Campbell, Alabama. You feel me? There's a reason why he snatches up all these SEC guys, because it's the best of the best of the best, sir. You feel me? With honors. You know what I mean? So this argument that, you feel me, SEC teams should be judged the same way that a loss to an SEC team, right? If you Alabama and you lost to, you know, I don't know who Alabama lost to, but I'm just saying for the sake of argument, you saying that you Alabama and you lost to, let's say, LSU or somebody, or you lost to Florida or somebody, you really going to sit there and tell me, you really going to penalize them for that? For losing to another powerhouse who also so happens to be ranked? Whereas you got BYU or somebody who got a bunch of, University of California, San Bernardinos, you feel me, on their schedule. Like, nigga, what is wrong with you? And here's the real head assery of it all, right? Here's the real head assery of it all, is that, and this is the thing with RG3, right? Is that I can't tell when the nigga is joking, and because he's such a cornball, right? He's such a cornball that I can't tell when he's just making a bad joke or when he's being serious. Cause half the time I think it's a little bit of both. Like all of that milkman BS. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's joking, but at the end of the day, we all know that, yeah, RG3 is the type of nigga to make dating white women his whole entire personality, or else he want to keep bringing it back up. Like, all right, nigga, you got you a Snow Bunny, you got you a Becky, yay, clap it up. He found his Sydney Sweeney. Again, you feel me? If you from where I'm from, they like a dime a dozen. So good for you, nigga. You know what I mean? But he says at the end of his point, something along the lines of the reason why BYU is not in the bracket is because, or as of right now, because things could change. But the reason why BYU is not in is because of, they discriminating against a Christian college, which, nigga, this is why that makes that take so head ass, right? BYU, there's only two teams. There's only two teams that you can make a reasonable argument don't belong, and BYU should have their place. The first is Bama, which again is an SEC team. And all right, Bama has 2 losses, but one of those losses is to Florida State. You know what I mean? From week 1. So you really going to pick, we did this a couple years ago when it was I believe it was Penn State and Notre Dame. No. It wasn't Penn State and Notre Dame, because it was Notre Dame that wound up getting dog walked. I think it was like Notre Dame and Ohio State or something, but somebody wound up getting dog walked. And folk was saying, and this is why This is why you don't just look at the record. You look at the quality of the opponent, because now you got these boys going in there and they getting ran out the building by a superior team, you feel me, who just so happened to have an inflated record. And that's what wound up happening. And speaking of Notre Dame, the only other team besides Bama that you could be making this argument against is Notre Dame. The most famous Christian school in the world, nigga. Notre Dame, which is known for two things: football and the Pope. Football and Catholicism. So the F is you talking about? What is, that's why I said I don't be knowing what this nigga be on. I don't know what he be smoking. A ayahuasca? Do it make you flip out like that? Y'all gotta tell me, because I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's just so wild. And this is really why I wanted to get at with this. And this is the crazy. Here's the even crazier thing with me, right? Is that BYU is a Mormon school. You know what I mean? I won't say most, but a lot of Christians don't even consider Mormons to be Christians for real like that. Same way with Seventh-day Adventists, same day with JWs, with Jehovah's Witness. I'm not going to get into all of the theology of it or whatever and whatnot, but they're like the redheaded stepchild. They're like the, y'all not invited to the communion. Y'all not invited to, the Friday night fish fry. You know what I mean? Mainline Christian denominations don't really mess with Mormons, don't really mess with JWs, don't really mess with Seventh-day Adventists like that. So I feel like between this and between, that BS that he pulled earlier this year, you feel me, talking about talking about people, trying to bully Caitlin Clark and blah, 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 all this other, anti-black misogynoir coded BS that he was spewing. RG3 is angling toward, being a Jason Whitlock light. Y'all don't know about that. I'm pretty sure, because this started out as a football channel. Y'all should know who Jason Whitlock is. That's who RG3 is angling toward being, is presenting himself as, the right side of the right side of enlightened centrism. You feel me? And then all of these sports niggas, you feel me? Again, Jason Whitlock is one. You feel me? Stephen A. Smith, oh my God. Stephen A. Smith, man. Matter of fact, RG3, I think, would be closer to Stephen A., but again, a lot more conservative coded than what Stephen A. Smith is. Because let's just call a spade right now. Stephen A. Smith is a black Republican, period. That is what he is. Stephen A. Smith is Steve Harvey. That is who and what he is. Stephen A. Smith is Steve Harvey, but a lot louder and a lot dumber. You know what I mean? And a lot more conceited in his dumbness. You feel me? Steve, I will give Steve this. Is at the very least, Steve comes off as one of those old school black boomer conservatives, right? Steve is one of them black conservatives that vote Democrat on principle. You know what I mean? He don't really want to. And that's why he said, and that's why, he talk about, how he don't like the extreme of both sides. Nah, the truth is, you feel me, he vote Democrat on principle. You feel me? That's what he is. You know what I mean? But he ain't gonna vote for, you know, like Mamdani and nothing. He ain't gonna do that. You dig what I'm saying? He's the type that'll run around call Obama a socialist. That's what Steve Harvey is. Stephen A, on the other hand, is just, I hesitate to call him the C word, because I don't think he's quite a C word. But Steve, because Jason Whitlock is definitely just straight full on coon. Oh my God. Listen, if you want to get my dad hot and bothered, if you want to get my dad hot around the collar, all you got to do is just bring up Whitlock around him, and he'll have every anti-black slur, lined out. I remember, I was talking to FD about this one, and y'all saw it on one. Matter of fact, it was the Hotep video. FD was talking about, you know, his dad, the way FD's dad feels about Farrakhan. That's how my dad feels about Whitlock. My dad cannot stand no Jason Whitlock. He can't stand Stephen A either, but he really can't stand Jason Whitlock. You know what I mean? But I say that to say all of these people, these comedians, these sport, it really, you know something, Trump really, if Trump don't leave no other lasting legacy, right? Trump really left the blueprint. He really left the template for how and in what way to get into politics in the 21st. So American politics is so stupid. Like genuinely stupid, like genuinely low IQ. You know what I mean? Because niggas have always voted for personality over policy. You think what I'm saying? That's the way that it's always been, but it just feels even louder now. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is cut a wrestling promo. Trump won the White House. Y'all can write this. You can put it in the paper. Trump won the White House. He don't got nobody to thank more than Vince McMahon. Every trick and trade in the book that he used to win the White House, and there have been whole books that have been made on this, is that Trump learned everything, every tactic that he used, because every speech that he gives is just a wrestling promo. If you ever watch pro wrestling, that's exactly all it is a wrestling promo. You know what I mean? And that's what Stephen A is. Stephen A is a pro wrestling personality. That's what he is. Stephen A. Smith is Paul Heyman. You know what I mean? He is a pro wrestling manager. You dig what I'm saying? Just an exaggerated version of his real life self, talking as loud. It reminds me of that that SpongeBob episode where Squidward was trying to get a band together, and he said, y'all know how when people want to sound smart, they just talk as loud as they can, and Plankton said, correct. That's Stephen A. Smith. That is Stephen A. Smith in a nutshell. And I just went off on a Stephen A. tangent, but this nigga RG3, I wouldn't be surprised, you feel me, if in the next couple of years y'all see him, you feel me, on News Nation or Newsmax or Fox News or something. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if you see him on CNN and they say and they say Republican strategist Robert Griffin III. Like, I'm not even joking, dog. That's how stupid politics is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to get, dog, really, Notre Dame, man, Notre Dame is there ain't nothing more Catholic than Notre Dame. Aside from, the only thing more Catholic than Notre Dame is probably the Pope himself. Only thing more Catholic than Notre Dame, the only town in America that's more Catholic than South Bend, Indiana, is New Orleans itself. Ain't nothing more Catholic than Notre Dame than Louisiana. And nigga, what is you talking about? All right, man, deuces, dog.